Hi, I just wanted to start the interviews with a little bit of background on my adoption story so all the questions are understood and things like that. So my biological mom had 4 kids in total. She was not stable, really could not take care of her own kids. And my soon-to-be adoptive mom, who's her sister, was just starting her teaching career. She was only 24. She was still she was coaching teams. She was on a softball team. She was in a softball league. She was young and active and ready to take on the world. So my biological mom called her on a Wednesday and said, I need you to take care of one of these kids, just babysit them for the week. And since she was going on spring break, she was ready. She was like, okay, fine. So on the Friday after the Wednesday, 2 days later, she came and picked me up. My conditions were not the best. There was no crib, no milk. My clothes had holes in them. I smelled like smoke. I was being fed McDonald's. I was drinking a pop of some sort. So I basically never went back. I think there was a period when I went back for maybe 30 minutes when they dropped me off after the week, and she was just like, listen, I can't leave her there. So she came back, picked me up, and I've been with her ever since. So I was about 6 to 8 months old, I believe. So I altered the questions. I knew I wasn't expected. I knew she wasn't expecting a kid. She was young, just starting her life after college. And so I asked some questions about that. My parents have always been open about my adoption and my adoption story. So I came up with some questions that even I was wondering, and I brought some things in that we've talked about in class, like the nature versus nurture subject. Me and my mom have talked about that multiple times, but I asked her opinion. So yeah, I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to learn some things, and yeah, I'm very excited for this. So okay, so when were you originally planning on having kids?
Well, let's see, I got you when I was 24. I would have probably said maybe another 2 years before I started having kids.
2 years before?
So, no. I waited 2 more years.
Okay.
26.
Okay. Did you always have it in your plans to adopt?
Yes. Except for I thought it would be from a different country.
Interesting. What made you think, what was one thing that happened where you were just I'm just gonna keep her?
The original plan was to just keep you for the weekend. We picked you up on Friday and you were supposed to go back on Sunday. But that was my spring break, so I was off of work. So I asked if I could keep you Sunday and bring you back over there to them on Monday. And I did take you back on Monday because I was coaching softball, so I had to go to a game. And when I left the game, I cried. So I went back and picked you up and never went back after that.
How did your parents react when you told them that you were adopting a kid out of the blue?
At first they definitely were not happy. They thought that it would cause issues in the family, and that I was too young and not ready, and but it didn't take them long, and then they were fine with it.
Was the adoption process hard? Did everything go smoothly, or were there some things that happened where it was just difficult?
It was long. It's quite a process, and I had to have home visits, and they had to be spaced out, and so I guess it took a lot longer than I thought, but we had you the whole time, so I guess it didn't really affect anything because we had guardianship over you, so we were allowed to do everything, take you to a doctor and do anything that we needed to do. So it was a little nerve-wracking just having someone in the house watching everything that you're doing, and but I would say maybe just how long it took was surprising.
What was my hardest quality as an infant? Like when you were raising me when I was younger, what was the hardest thing you had to do?
Well, first thing I would say was because of what they were feeding you before you came to us, you were very constipated. So we had a lot of issues in the beginning with getting you through that and getting you back like on regular baby food and what you should be eating. So I would say that by far was the hardest thing.
Due to my birth family's past, what are you most worried about for either when I was younger or in the future?
I would say self-esteem, because your birth mom lacks that and makes choices because of that. And I would say for the future, I'm nervous about addiction because both parents have issues with addiction. So, and I don't want that for them.
If you had to change one thing about the whole situation, what would it be?
I don't know if I would change anything.
Nothing?
That's a hard one. Maybe we'll come back to that one, but I can't think of anything.
Okay. After 16 years, what do you think plays a bigger part, nature or nurture, and why?
I've joked about this a lot. I was worried about this from the very beginning when I got you. But I think nurture plays a huge part because of I got you very young. I got you every day. And I'm able to teach you and help you along the way and instill in you good morals and what's important and life lessons. And I think most of what you do comes from that. There are some things I probably don't know that are nature, but I would say, in my opinion, it's more nurture.
And that was the last question, so if you wanted to go back to what would you change about the situation?
Gosh. I guess in general, and not just for me, but for others, the cost of adoption, it's very hard for families to do that, and if it wasn't so expensive, more people might be able to do it and have that opportunity. I'm thankful that I was able to do this.
Okay, so for the last question, you mentioned it earlier, but did anything happen between you and your siblings after you took me?
Not really. I think one of my biggest concerns in the very beginning was maybe they were going to want you back or share time with you or, whatever was convenient for them. And I was worried about that, so I made sure that I got legal guardianship right away so that I could do everything and I had control over doctor's appointments and stuff we needed to do. I didn't want you going back and forth because, one, it would have been hard for me, but I also don't think it would have been healthy for you. So I made that clear from the very beginning before I even picked you up, that this was how it was going to be, and that they needed to sign over rights right away. I don't know if, I feel like maybe through the years people have brought stuff up and made comments, but that's only every so often, and it doesn't seem to really go anywhere. So.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you.
Yes.